Hey everyone, we're going to be painting the background color for our pumpkin paintings first. And you should have a white and a phthalo green. I also have some plan paper down or newspaper, paper towel, a cup of water, and my large size paintbrush, round or flat, it doesn't matter. So first thing I want to do is mix my green to get a lighter green. Now the phthalo green is the stronger of the two pigments. So I'm going to use the back of my paintbrush and I'm going to pick up some of the phthalo green, put it into my pile of white, and I'm folding it in on itself. So I'm trying not to take this green puddle and spread it all over my palette paper. I spread it all over the palette paper, I just end up painting the palette or the paper plate, the surface that you're working on, and you don't end up with a lot of paint to work with. I only want to mix this color once. It's a little bit light for me. I think I'm going to go in and take a little bit more. If you like it that light, go ahead and paint with it. I think I want a little bit of a darker, brighter background. When you're mixing colors of paint, it's always good to add the darkest color into the lightest color. A bit more of that. Oh, already I could tell I like that color. Bring it up to the camera so you can see. I think that's going to be it. That's my winning color. Now the back of my paintbrush is really dirty. I don't want that all over my hands. So with your paper towel, move that out of the way. I'm simply going to wipe off and twist the extra paint. There we go, that's better. And starting at the top of the canvas, I'm going to pick up some of that paint. And notice I don't have the paint going all the way down to the metal part of the brush. When we're painting with the paintbrush, we want to keep the paint towards the top because that's the part of the bristles that move back and forth. That's where I am controlling the paint. Paint all the way down to that metal part doesn't do me any good. It wastes the paint, gets inside of the bristles really deep, so it's harder for me to wash the brush later. And I'm going in a horizontal motion back and forth across the canvas. These are pre-primed canvases, meaning they've already been covered with a layer of primer or gesso. So they are ready to hold on to that acrylic paint. So a little paint is going to spread a long way because that canvas fabric has been covered. If you don't prime your canvas, or if you don't buy it pre-primed, that canvas fabric is just going to absorb all of your acrylic paint. So you always want to make sure if you're painting at home that you prime it or you buy it pre-primed. If it's bright white and it has a painted texture or feel to it, probably good to go. All right, now when I was painting this at the top, talking about primer, I noticed I dropped a couple bristles in here. Let's see. You can see that in the camera there. There's two little hairs of the paintbrush stuck in there. So I can go back with my brush and just pick those up. There on the end of my brush. I'm just going to put it back on my palette or in the paper towel. So let me get rid of those. If a hair ends up drying inside of your canvas, it's not a big deal. There are many famous artists around the world who have ended up with little bits of hair and other things inside their painting. They're doing all right. Vincent van Gogh, for one, used to do his paintings outside, and little bits of dirt, insects, sand would blow into his paintings. He could care less. He just painted right over them. Keep going in this horizontal motion. I'm going back over my brush strokes. Another hair there. Boy, paintbrush is shedding today. I'm getting little bits of hair everywhere. And I'm going to keep spreading this all over horizontal lines. Nice thin coat of paint. If you have areas that are painted too thick, it's going to take a while for them to dry because we need to go in and put some pumpkins on top of this soon. The sides of your canvas, you can choose to paint them. You can leave them white. You could even go over them when you're home with a colored Sharpie if you'd like. For today, because I'm taking this painting home at the end of the night, I'm not going to paint the sides. It gives me a little something more to hold on to. I won't end up with painted hands. So this is a nice first coat. I smoothed out any chunks, painting in the horizontal lines, and I am going to let this dry. This is a great time now for you to stretch your legs, take a break, talk to some friends, get a snack. You have a little break time in between the canvas drying. I would say about 10-15 minutes, come back and check your canvas. When you leave your painting station, you're going to want to take your paintbrush and put it in the water so it can just hang out here. Otherwise, 15 minutes and that paint would be dry inside the bristles of your brush as well. Remember that acrylic paint is permanent. It can stain your clothes.